You just have to. It's hard because, you know, like we're talking about, it's 98 years behind or whatever. So being that we're 98 years behind, you know, we're kind of trapped, you know, right? Only perfect practice makes perfect. Who do you listen to? What's gonna give you the motivation when you get into this? What's gonna give you the drive? You know, mastering the basics is gonna do that. Because if you master the basics, right? Or if you don't master the basics, only practice makes perfect. But if you're practicing wrong, then you're not perfecting nothing. You know? It's like with like me seeing in class with the punch. That your fist has to be a certain way, or you're gonna punch and break your own wrist. What's the sense of punching if you're gonna break your own wrist? Master the basics, right? Personal experience is the final test. So a situation is gonna happen where you're gonna be tested on what your mastering of the basics, your practice has been. It might be go to a store and you know the clerk from East Asia or something like that, you know, just ask you a question, you know, who are you? You know what to answer. Or it might be, you know, get stopped at the bus, waiting for the bus. And the popo that they talk about that like to do stuff to black guys, you know, come up. And you just happen to be, you know, in a hoodie that day. You're gonna get tested. And that's the only way that you can base where you're at. Anybody can be anywhere. You know? Like when we went to Chicago, me and Assistant Grand Chief looked at each other at the same time and we're gonna ask each other, yo, do you see that, yo? And we're talking about how they had their own plates. And it's not even something that like gets in right away. You know? Because it's foreign to your perspective. You know, but a new path was made at that instant. That there was a new path that was created based on seeing some Moors with car with their own plates on it, and then across the street, police has a guy stopped. And that guy has Illinois plates. But then this guy's over here just parked up, just like that guy's parked up, like double parked. So like there's parked, and then he's like double parked with the plates on there. And this guy over there is getting pulled over, and he's parked properly. And it just puts in, you know, personal experience. You know what I mean? Me telling you that isn't as hype as me seeing that. Actually seeing that, and I actually, you know what I mean, like, you know, like Neo with the bullets, just.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't understand it. You're nothing, yo. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're nobody. You know, and everything just slows down, and you can actually take in what is really going on. You know, you get in the zone. You know? And then when you get in the zone with this, then you're just like a tornado, just going. You know what I mean? Yeah, bro.
Sorry, I don't know if anyone else recognizes that those three points, it's like this, that if you just heard the book The Secret,
Yeah,
those 3 steps were the secret.
right,
You know, in 3 steps.
right. But if we can talk about it, and then we never got it from the secret, then that's not a secret.
Well,
And those guys played everybody.
Sorry, I didn't hear that. What was that again? Sorry.
I was saying those 3 points, if you heard of the book The Secret,
Oh, yes.
yeah, and they're making a big deal out of it, those 3 points were the secret. That is the
But they took the secret from us and put it in a book format, and then everybody was easier to digest.
Well, that is a terrible shame.
Who wrote that? Sylvia Brown.
I have no idea.
That meant that.
It's really not a shame. It's just the planet's waking up and the vibration and getting the people ready that are asleep. Actually, they're getting ready, and they're getting ready for us. The ones that really know this is not a belief system. This is not a ritual. These are faith religion. This is our birthrights, and we're getting ready to reclaim our birthrights back to protect ourselves because there's something going on.
So Sylvia Brown, the psychic, right?
Yeah, and she from what I've heard from like Taj Tariq's videos and all other research I've done, not her teachings, but how her literature all comes back to Moorish knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah.
This
Because
is-
that's the last stronghold that they defeated. The last stronghold. Everything else was done for. The last stronghold was the Moorish stronghold. You know, and they couldn't destroy that, so they just inherited it.
Mhm.
You know? So the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, right? Drew, on top of being a European name, is the past of Dra. Right? And to draw is to cause to go in a certain direction. Draw is to cause to move continuously toward or after a force applied in advance. Draw is to bring by inducement or to allure. Draw is to bring about or bring out by way of response to derive to one's benefit. So, Noble Drew Ali is spirit all the time. So Drew is not a European name that he was born with and whatever. Like, we have to look at everything from the higher perspective. And we're not looking at it from the perspective of Drew is just a name and that's it. No, Drew's not just a name and that's it. There's other things that attach to Drew. Just like more is not it. You ask somebody what's a more, they're going to tell you an open tract of land. You ask another person, you go more, they're going to say somewhere that you dock a boat.
Mm-hmm.
You ask somebody else about more, they're going to tell you, yeah, the Aboriginal and Indigenous people of North America. So we have to look at the broader perspective. This is where the dictionaries come in, and having dictionaries and looking up words, and when you look up words, you get more words and you increase your vocabulary, and you know what I mean? So this is just to give basics that we're talking about. This is just basic thing. Man's name's Drew. Okay, look up Drew in the dictionary. Oh, well, Drew is past no draw. Okay, yeah, Drew. Okay, what does draw mean? Because Drew and draw are connected. So this is what we get. And when we look at the Prophet's words and the movement, it is something to cause to go in a certain direction. It is causing to move continuously after a force being applied in advance. It is to bring inducement or to allure. You know, the movement is to allure you out of your sinful ways into the marvelous light, so you can be better citizens. To bring about by way of response. That's what the 101 questions is. Bring about by way of response. You know, question 65. What is the devil sometimes called?
See,
The lower self. Question, response.
I see.
This is in his literature, right? To derive to one's benefit. The only reason we're in this because we see a benefit in it. We're not going to be in something if there's no benefit to you. And if you are in something that's no benefit to you, why be part of it?
I see.
Right? So the Moorish Divine and National Movement of North America, Old Canaanite Temple, Moorish Holy Temple of Science of the World, part and parcel, civic instruction and civic duty, founded in 1925, legally incorporated as a civic organization in 1926, adopted as its corporate name, Moorish Science Temple, in 1928. And then the Moorish Science Temple is part and parcel, religious instruction, civic duty, and corporate duty. 1928 corporate name, Moorish Science Temple of America. And that's the basics of the organizational structure. And then this breaks down into a lot more that happened right before the Prophet passed. Right? Which RV Bay Publications has that whole breakdown of what other organizations are part of the Moorish Divine and National Movement from that time. And then in the Prophet's literature, right, he said, I am a universal prophet and my philosophy will be universal. I came to you Moors because you need me the most. So everybody needs a prophet. Everybody needs the prophet. He just came to us because we needed him the most. That's basically it, right? The greatest weapon in the hands of our group today in America is our press. The truth will never be told about a disadvantaged minority by the general press of any country, whether that minority be racial, political, or religious. Unless we express ourselves through papers of our own, the truth about us will not be told. So Prophet put the plea out to the Moors, make sure you guys have a paper so you can tell the story and you could tell the truth about us. Because nobody else is going to do that but us. Now, I'm not expecting black groups to talk about Moors. I'm not expecting Hip Hop Magazine to talk about Moors. I'm not expecting Catholics or the rabbis or imams or whoever to talk about Moors. So we put out our own paper. Because that's what the Prophet said do, put out a paper. Alright, so put out a paper. It's not a big deal either. And there's other Moors that follow what the Prophet said and put out a paper. That's accessible. Right? There's Moors that have attics full of papers, past papers, because Moors didn't want to support the paper. In the literature, who's going to be buying these papers? Papers not for outsiders, it's for them to get the information, but the information that's in the paper, the people who are out there are supposed to get it from Moors, who subscribe to the paper, just like they subscribe to their local paper, comes to their door, stick it in the mailbox every Sunday or whatever. That's what they're supposed to be doing with this. You know what I mean? They want the Moors to have, paper distribution, paper route. No, how about you do that since that's your idea? Instead of waiting for Morris to do something. If your idea is so